From 13 ABC, this is a breaking news special report.
And we do interrupt regular programming to bring you this sad news this afternoon. It is confirmed from the city of Toledo in a press release released just moments ago that Mayor Mike Collins has passed away this afternoon. I'm going to read you the press release sent to us by the city of Toledo. It is with great sadness that we announce that Mayor D. Michael Collins passed away today, February 6, 2015. His loss leaving a void in our lives that will never be filled. City of Toledo mourning its mayor, as well as expressing deep sympathy for the family and the close friends of Mayor Collins. We know he went to a grocery store, went to Costco. After that, authorities say he did suffer cardiac arrest, crashing his black SUV near Hill and Parkside. Evelyn Johnson, we know her story by now, called 911. She and Andre Crisp followed instructions from the dispatcher, an incredibly calm dispatcher, during a 911 call that lasted only about 7 minutes. They used a hammer to break the window and then performed CPR to get the mayor breathing once again. Collins arrived at UTMC at 2:22 p.m. on Sunday afternoon. And once again, getting word within the last 10 minutes that he passed away at UTMC. Mayor Collins remembered. Take a look.
D. Michael Collins spent his life in service of his hometown. He walked a beat for 27 years as a Toledo police officer, then was elected by his brothers to serve 10 years as president of the Police Patrolmen's Association. While on the force, he earned his bachelor's degree from UT and then an MBA from UT. He handled several collegiate-level teaching assignments at the University of Toledo, but his call to public service was strong, and in 2007, he ran for city council as a political independent. He won that seat on Toledo City Council, representing South Toledo in District 2. Collins was known as a busy and dedicated councilman, often at odds with both Mayor Carty Finkbeiner and then Mayor Mike Bell. He even frequently debated issues with fellow council members concerning budgets and government oversight. But when he saw a chance to defeat Mike Bell, who was running for re-election in 2013, Collins decided to take him on, again as an independent, but with a massive amount of support from unions all across the city.
D. Michael Collins.
In November of 2013, he beat Mayor Mike Bell handily. Then in January, he began what turned out to be a very tumultuous first year as mayor.
As our community mourns the loss of these two fine professionals, they deserve, and rightfully so, the title of heroes.
Which began 3 weeks in with the deaths of 2 firefighters and then the worst winter weather in our city's history. But perhaps the biggest event during his short tenure as mayor was his handling of the water crisis that first weekend in August of 2014.
We're erring on the side of caution.
500,000 people were told they could not drink the water, and the mayor was the point man for his city. He met with federal and state local officials, organized water distribution lines, made sure samples of Toledo's water were tested for safety.
I'm pretty thirsty right now because it's been a long night.
It was a long 3 days for our city and for the mayor, but Mayor D. Michael Collins was in command, soliciting help from the governor and urging federal lawmakers to solve the issue of water quality in the Great Lakes. February 1st, he was out surveying the streets of his hometown as another big snowstorm crippled the city. D. Michael Collins was a dedicated policeman, educator, council member, and mayor, and he died at the age of 70.
As Bill pointed out, he had a distinguished career of public service right here in his hometown, and it lasted some 27 years, starting with that 27-year career with the Toledo Police Department. He was on the beat for many of those years, but also elected by his brothers on the force to serve as president of their police officers union. Back in 2008, he began his 6 years representing District 2 on Toledo City Council, a fierce fighter for South Toledo. And then in 2013, he was elected mayor. The grassroots campaigning, Collins Cares. He was an underdog. There's no question about it, but steadfast in his campaign and began his term in January of 2014.
D. Michael Collins may have been many things professionally: Marine, police officer, city councilman, and mayor.
But in smaller, perhaps more meaningful moments, he was a husband, a father, and a grandfather to 8. His Facebook page is filled with those moments, and if pictures tell the truth, these were happy times for him. Collins was the father of 3 grown daughters from his first marriage. 2 of them live in San Diego, which is where he and his wife Sandy spent this past Thanksgiving. He married Sandy Drabick in July 2005. She's a respected attorney with a long list of professional accomplishments, including vice president and general counsel for the University of Toledo before her retirement in 2007. They took many pictures of their travels to Ireland, to Disneyland, to Mobile, Alabama just last month to watch his team, the Toledo Rockets, win the GoDaddy Bowl game. He may have been the leader of Ohio's 4th largest city, but somebody had to mow his lawn, which his wife documented over and over and over again. And he was a dog guy. Here they are with their dog Chloe at the September opening of Toledo's new dog park. He was a loyal and enthusiastic supporter of his alma mater, sporting Rockets garb in picture after picture. Pictures that show a smiling politician visiting Toledo's farmers market, overseeing ribbon-cutting ceremonies, honoring his time as a Marine, and it would seem loving every minute of it. He was proud of his Irish roots, too, talked about it often, and returned to his homeland a number of times. And after his cardiac arrest, many supporters remembered that in prayer and in the Irish blessing, which ends with the line, "And until we meet again, may God hold you in the hollow of his hand." And we have on the phone also with us right now Congresswoman Marcy Kaptur, who has known D. Michael Collins for years and years and years. And Congresswoman Kaptur, thank you for being with us and tell us your thoughts today and your memories of this man you had a long time friendship with.
Oh, yes. And as with all the citizens of our community and region, we extend the deepest sympathy and abiding gratitude to his wife Sandy, to his children, to his family, to his colleagues.
And we want to send it now to Melissa, who is standing by with former Toledo Mayor Carty Finkbeiner.
Lee and Diane, I know that former Mayor Toledo Mayor, Carty Finkbeiner was actually headed in to see Sandy, Mayor Collins' wife, when you heard the news. And it is so very deeply sad to see what has happened here.
Yes, it is. But I want to take a little different view. Mike lived 70 years, and he gave everything he had to that 70 years. I didn't know him when he was at Central Catholic or Libby High School. Didn't know him when he was in college, but I have known him for the last quarter century as a heck of a leader for the Toledo Police Patrolmen, a very energized councilman, and a very, very driven, energetic mayor. So
I want to show you, we just got downtown, and shortly after the announcement of his passing, you can see that the flags here at Government Center are flying at half staff. They're also flying at half staff over at the police department, obviously in honor of Mayor D. Michael Collins.
When candidates run for office, they often use patriotic red, white, and blue theme colors on campaign material, including signs and bumper stickers. When Mike Collins ran for mayor, his signs were distinctive, green and white, with these 2 words: Collins cares.
Police Chief Mike Navarre, who knew Mike Collins perhaps better than most, joins us now, the police chief of the city of Oregon, but of course formerly the police chief of the city of Toledo. Chief, can you hear us?
Yes, I'm here. Thank you.
Tell us your thoughts right now, and if you could remind us on how you knew him. You knew him serving as a police officer, right?
I met Mike back in 1977.
It was so sad. I mean, he just became mayor, you know, to see this dream achieved and then have this happen is awful.
It was sad, real sad. He seemed like a great guy.
Right now, I want to bring in Ignacio Messina. He is with the Toledo Blade, and Ignacio, you worked with the mayor. You've actually been working with him since he's been a city councilman. What can you tell me about what you've been hearing today?
You know, people remember him as a tenacious fighter. He's never been known to back away from a fight. You know, something I heard a lot today, that he's a compassionate man, something Councilman Tom Winooski says that he restored funding for homeless shelters.
With people here at Government Center.
That's exactly right. We've been talking to a number of city council people who have expressed their sadness and saying that it's an unfortunate situation, obviously, for the city of Toledo. We caught up with Larry Sykes, City Councilman Larry Sykes, and this is what he had to say.
It's unfortunate. You know, obviously the prayers go to the family. We got to keep them in our prayers. what I said before is that, what I call REIT, and that's Republicans, Independents, and Democrats need to come together to make sure that the city continue to run in the direction that Mayor Collins is running.
I really believe strongly that D. Michael Collins lived the motto of this city. If you look at our flag, it says laborare et orare, to work and to pray.
Okay.
And we have right now Ohio Governor John Kasich with us right now. Governor Kasich, we thank you so much for being with us today. And would you share your thoughts with us on hearing the news of the passing of Mayor Collins?
Well, I like Mayor Collins a whole lot. We, of course, work day and night on the water crisis in Toledo.
Lee, Diane, within minutes of posting that update about the mayor's passing, we had hundreds of comments flooding in. In fact, being here in the newsroom in the early mornings, we would get phone calls almost every morning, sometimes from the same people calling us, checking in, saying, have you heard anything different? Have you heard anything different?
And one of the first hires, George, that Mayor Collins made when he became mayor was to hire you, Congressman Bob Latta.
And we have Luis Santiago on the phone with us right now. Chief, can you share with us your thoughts? This must be a very difficult day for you.
Because, Bill, you were with him through so many difficult or challenging times and had to ask some real tough questions.
Sure, tough questions, got honest answers, always an honest answer. He would frequently say to me during these interviews, you ask me the question, I'll give you the answer. I won't lie to you. Frequently, he would call me with story ideas. If I ever called him for a response on some story, Lee, Diane, I can't remember, but maybe 2 or 3 times in the 6 or 8 years I covered him that he ever turned me down for an interview.
Were you able to get to know him on a personal level, Senator?
Well, I had lunch with him soon after he was sworn in.
Ron Haggerty, thanks for that. Hearing so many memories today and so many wishes for good luck and knowing that our hearts are with the family of Mayor Mike Collins. We're going to take a moment to reset and begin 5 o'clock.
But here's a lasting memory.
Here's to you, Toledo. You did a great job.